friends, this is Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. Today we're going to make one of my all-time favorite Mexican dishes, dark mole. Now, there are many different kinds of mole, okay? My household grew up with the red mole, and believe me, I can just drink that stuff like it's like it's medicine, because it kind of is to my soul. And then later on, as I started experiencing different foods, I ran across this dark mole and lost my cookies for this stuff. I'm telling you. I don't know, maybe because it has peanut butter and chocolate and stuff. It does, but it's not a dessert thing. It's not, because it also has chili. So the chili and the sweetness, they kind of like want to fight each other, but then they end up making out and they need a room, you know. You know what I'm saying. So, and the thing, let me just take one quick minute before we bulge in. The thing about the thing about food, you can take 30 people given the same ingredients and everything else is the same, and you're going to get 30 different flavors. If 30 people make Spanish rice, you're going to get 30 different kinds of Spanish rice. These two are just mine. So I'm going to show you how to make, I'm telling you, foolproof Spanish rice. And you're thinking, oh, I can never do it because it's always 101 excuses. This works every time. So I'm kind of excited for you to try that. And this mole, oh. Now, making a Spanish meal, you have rice and beans and mole. I don't do beans. I have just in the past maybe 6 months have said, all right, I'll taste a bean. And it was okay. But I don't, if I do go to a Mexican restaurant, keep the beans, let someone else have them, because I don't even want them on my plate. But I will tell you, my daughter makes amazing beans. I'll have to have her come on and show you, because those beans I would eat. So, all right, shut up, Maria. I want to see what you're making. I know, I don't blame you. Okay, so let's just go. God. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my chicken ready. Now, you can bake your chicken. You can do whatever you want to with your chicken. I'm boiling it because I want broth. There's the method to my madness, baby. So I'm going to do this very similar to the way I do my enchiladas, my green chili chicken enchiladas, but we're here. There's 4 chicken legs. I prefer dark meat. You do what you want, okay? So I've got a big onion. And all this is just really to flavor the broth. And I got about a few garlics. And I'm putting in, and you need to count this because you want to take out what you put in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bay leaves. I missed some garlic. There's about 10. Okay, and a little salt and pepper and water. Okay, so we just want it covered, really. And on high. This stove is pretty kind of neat because it has this bridge that lets you cook both. It lets you turn the whole, oh, you see it, you turns on both sides for a big pot like this. So this is going to go on a crazy boil. I'm going to cover it kind of wonky so that some steam gets out, but not a lot. And I'm missing something. I am missing something for my broth. Let me go figure it out. But in the meantime, this is going to boil. It's not the salt and pepper, though. Yes, we do need that. And I'm generous with the pepper because I like the taste of it. And I'm using I need to make more, my Bijou Sexy Salt, because that's just got a lot of good stuff in it. All right. But I'm missing something. Okay, this is going to drive me crazy. I know what I'm missing. I'm missing my carrots and celery. So the mirepoix, the onions, carrot, and celery, That's just the base of any great broth. This is still going to be a good broth. I don't have carrots and I don't have celery, but I'm not going to not make this anyway. That just kind of makes it better. But trust me, this is going to be quite amazing, especially since this is not the star. This is just an additive. So carrots and celery, don't forget those when you make this. Okay, so in this pot, we're going to do our chilies and get our sauce. This is going to be our sauce base, okay? So I've got the heat on high. It's going to get boiling. And I'm going to put in the chilies. And I've cleaned about, and when I say clean, I mean I opened them up and took out the seeds and the bitter stem, the vein that's in there. So this is all going to go in there. I'm going to put the, everything, almost everything is going to go in here. I'm putting the tomatoes in now. I know, it's crazy. Crazy stuff. The cinnamons, and I need to get another onion in here. And I'm putting the whole onion in. The other ingredients are going to come in at a later time, but I am going to put some chipotle peppers in. Now, the reason I like the guajillo peppers, the big ones that I put in first, they're not very hot. Now, I'm a Mexican that does not like spice. I love flavor. But for me, spice and heat does not necessarily mean flavor. So this is right out of the can, whole chipotles with adobo sauce. Or I'm sorry, adobado. So I'll put in, I didn't see how many that was, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. Let's say 6, which is almost the whole can, but all right, now that's going to kick up the heat a lot. But that's okay because we got other stuff that's going to chill it out. So this is going to boil. Once it boils and I got a really good boil, I'm going to, I want to make sure that everything is cooked and that the peppers are floppy, just lifeless. And then I'm going to let it steep for about half an hour. But this thing here is still going, so my chicken, so we're on a good time schedule here. Okay, so every now and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to scrape off this broth. I want a clean broth. So these are just all the impurements and sediment from the bird. We don't want that. So I'll probably do this like 3 or 4 times, depending on how much comes out. If I have to do it 20 times, I'm doing it 20 times because I know I want it good. Okay, so this is getting hot, but not quite boiling. Duh, right? I'm going to put in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 prunes. I know. You could use raisins if you wanted to. You just want that heavy, sweet tar kind of thing. It's going to be an additive and a sweetener. I love, I guess I'm old enough to say I love prunes. I could just eat them like candy because I love plums. And that's all they are. So that's going to keep boiling. I tell you, I'm just having one of those days. I forgot the garlic. I know I put it in the other one, but we got to share. And I don't even think I put in enough. I'm going to put in more. If a recipe calls for 3 cloves of garlic, chances are I'm going to put in 12. You do? Okay, now I'm pretty sure, I'm probably almost positive, maybe I might be done. This is going really good. Look at that chicken go, baby. And then this is going to start going pretty good. When it's going really good, because I have it so high, I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit and let it take it a little bit longer to do what I need it to do. But until then, okay, on a side note, have you guys seen these sink trays, sink racks? They're so cool. I bought 2 of them. They come in different sizes. I got them on Amazon. They've got this rubber, so it kind of really holds it in place. I'm moving my hand in case you can't tell. So when I need to access my water, I do it. Otherwise, I can just put stuff on top if I want to leave it here to dry. I'm going to use it next or whatever. You can put vegetables and fruit on here and wash it off and just let them sit. They're awesome. Side note, that's all. Okay, so I'm going to catch up to what I did off camera. Sorry. I took the chicken out and I have it covered. You can see how tender this chicken is. I mean, it's just falling off the bone. Man, there's a lot of flavor. Oh, that's so good, just as it is. Now, I don't need this to be browned because I'm going to cover it with the mole, so I'm okay with that. But if you need a brown, pop it in the broiler. I'm just saying, you don't need it. All right. So this gets set aside. I ended up with, let me show you my broth. I ended up with about 10 cups of broth. I'm going to use about, I don't know, 7 to 8 for the mole. And then for 1 cup of rice, I'm going to use 2 cups of this broth. That's the only flavoring we're going to put in it because we don't, no, there's one other thing, but that's just for the color. But my favorite Spanish rice is just good broth and rice, and that's it. Now, people like to see it orange, so I'll put in a little bit of geez, I just went blank. I'll show you in a minute. And that's just to give it the color that people kind of need to associate with Mexican rice. So if you don't get quite up to 10 cups ish, okay, we're talking ish, what you can do is you can fill it up to 10 cups and then add some like better than bouillon broth or broth cubes or whatever, just to, you want that chicken broth. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, that's okay to do. So now we're going to take this beautiful sauce and we're going to actually make it into what we're looking for. This is the fun part. Okay, so I'm going to take this, let me see. You see how floppy? Well, you can't. Of course, the one I want to show you is not floppy, but everything is nice and soft. The tomatoes are smushy. Everything is mushy, which is what you want because we're going to go puree it right now. Now, don't be picking at the rest of my kitchen because my kitchen's a mess. You know how it is. You're cooking. Leave it alone. I'm going to pour in some, whip it up, and then continue until I got a nice puree. So here, just watch. God. Okay, so I'm going to run it through a sieve. And again, look at this thing that I was showing you earlier. It's so handy because my stove is still hot, but I can put this stuff on there. So I'm going to run it through a sieve because I really want it nice and fine. I mean, we're going to go to the trouble. Let's do it right. Yes, it's going to take a little extra longer, and yes, it's going to dirty another dish. If that's more than you can handle, don't do it. I'm going to go ahead and be okay with the extra work, and oh yeah, I am. Oh yeah, I am. So I'm going to keep doing this until everything is nice and clean. And I'll show you this. This is the part that you see, you just get like clumps, you know, like the meaty, pulpy stuff that you're not looking for in a smooth type of gravy sauce. I mean, come on, it's not that much more work. All right, well, let me finish up. Can you even see it? All right, well, you get the idea. Okay, so this is the stuff that I separated. So worth the little bit of work, guys. And then you get this beautiful, clear broth. Yes. Okay, I'm really excited to show you the rice. It's really just me. It's just me eating today. So clearly I'm not going to eat this all. So I'm going to make a lot of rice. Well, I'll use 2 cups of rice, which is enough for a family, and 4 cups of that wonderful broth. And then I'll give the food away. I'll make someone dinner tonight. I don't even know who. You want it? Come get it. Okay, so the rice. You're gonna love it. Since the mole itself is practically done, we're just gonna finish it up a little bit. I'm gonna start on this. So I'm gonna toast a little bit of rice. Let's see, what are we looking at? Maybe 2 tablespoons of oil for 2 cups of rice. Okay, well, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. Remember I was telling you I'm going to add something to give it that orange flavor, and I'm telling you every Mexican family has Knorr's Caldo de Tomato. It's just a tomato flavoring. Like a chicken stock, but tomato. Sometimes it hurts. Okay, rices or the oil's hot. All right, I'm gonna toast the rice. I want it to get a little brown. I'm not gonna cook it, but I want to toast it. And as soon as you start mixing it, it gets coated with all the oil in there, so you're good. So I'm going to just toast this, and I'll let you know when it's done. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. You on? You're on. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I'm not looking to toast every piece of rice, and I certainly am not wanting to burn it. So that's why I'm keeping it moving. I'm going to lower the heat because I had it on pretty high. I'm going to add 4 cups-ish of the chicken broth, and it's going to just go crazy. The crowd's going crazy. I know. Let me get it closer. Introducing the Bijou Baker. Thank you. Let it go nuts. I want it to go nuts. All right. Crazy, right? Okay, so I want this to get to a really, really crazy boil like that. In the meantime, I'm going to take just a spoonful. So if you need a measurement, I'd say for 4 cups of rice, I'd say maybe 2 tablespoons. And there you go. That's just to give it the color. That's it. Although it's absolutely amazing without this. All right, so I'm going to let it boil for about 3 minutes, just like that. Just let it do what it's doing. At this point, if you wanted to add corn or peas or something else like that, this is where you would do it. Actually, before it gets boiling, because once you add that stuff, the temperature is going to really, really drop, and then you're going to take a while to bring it back up again. So just before you put in the broth, just so long as we get this thing going for 3 minutes. In the meantime, on a separate burner, in a separate pot, I've got a couple of tablespoons of oil. I'm going to get it warm. I'm not going to get it hot. I just don't want it room temperature. So once it gets a little warm, I'm going to add this beautiful chili sauce. Okay, can you see how it's starting to get a little thick and you're seeing less broth and more rice? I'm going to put the temperature to just to low, and I'm going to add one more, well, not even, maybe about a half. What was that? Let's see, that was maybe about a half a cup of broth. I'm going to let it boil like this again for 7 minutes. Okay, so a total of 10. In the meantime, come along. Okay, so the oil it's not hot, but it's not warm. I hate to waste, so I won't. All right, now I'm gonna let this, I'm not gonna let it get boiling just yet. I gotta add all my other goodies in there. But I want it to kind of get together. Okay, before it gets too hot, I'm gonna add just a dash of clove. Okay, a couple dashes. And the sugar. Okay, now this is the part where it's going to thicken it up, okay? The next step. People use corn tortillas. They use corn chips. If you do use corn chips, please don't use salt. I like Masa Harina. It's a corn flour. So that's what I'm going to make an essential kind of roux with to thicken it up. I'm going to start off with 1/4 cup. I'm going to wait till it's warmer. I don't want to start just yet. But in the meantime, that's ready to go. So the next step, this is a fun part. Okay, so we've had a total of 10 minutes boiling time. Cover it, turn off the heat. That's it. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. That is it. Do not lift up the lid. Do not stir it. Do not move it. Just leave it alone until you're ready to eat. Okay, now I'm going to start the roux. And the thing that I love about that rice is because people think that, you know, that, oh, I can never make good Spanish rice because they're intimidated by it. It's going to work for you, babe. I'm telling you. So I'm going to whisk this and whisk, whisk, whisk until it's all dissolved. So I started off with 1/4 cup. I know I'll use at least a half a cup. And if I do get it where I get it too thick, well, then I'll just come back and use some of that broth. Which, by the way, I misspoke because I didn't use that broth for this. I made the broth for the rice, but this is this does not need the broth because look how nice and thin it is. All right, one more 1/4 cup and we'll go from there. All right, now the peanut butter, I know, right? I know. This is gonna thicken it up too. And then the chocolate. Now you need 100%, whether, you know, what I have, 10 ounces. So 100% of 10 ounces, whether it's, you know, 50% semi-sweet and 50% milk chocolate and 50%, whatever it is, whatever combination you want. I have a good Kosher chocolate, which is really one of the best chocolates out there. And let me lower this heat. and I have chocolate chips. So I'm getting the best of both. And I'm putting that in there. Crazy, right? I know. All right, and I'm just going to continue working this in until everything is combined and nice and ready to eat. Okay, this is done. It's nice and thick, but not too thick. Oh my God. Okay, wait. I want to show you the rice. The last time I touched this was the last time I touched this. So I didn't do anything at all since then. Left it covered, turned it off, and left it alone. Oh, hello. Yep, that's a beautiful consistency. But it's too hot to taste, so give me just a minute. But can you see? You're not focused. Okay, focus. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so I got my plate. I'm gonna just drizzle some of my chili chipotle. No, my chili honey on top, just because I freaking love that stuff. And now, ordinarily, you would serve beans. We already went through that, so I'm not going to tell you. But, you want some? Come get some. Well, good God, I'm a mess. Oh, well, it's just me and you. So the good thing about this is because the chicken is so tender, you don't need a knife. It's just gonna flake right off. Okay, and the rice is so perfectly done, you guys. I'm telling you, you can't mess it up. You can't mess it up. I'm done. It is so good. Okay, so you're thinking the pepper, the peanut butter, and the chocolate. There's heat. Right there. Right there. There's heat, but the peanut butter and the chocolate really kind of chill it out and tell it to knock itself off and behave. And do you know dark mole? Or have you had it? You probably make it. You probably make it better than mine. Again, this is just one of 1,000 mole recipes out there. But if you like mole, you guys, you gotta try this. It's so good. And foolproof rice. I'm not even joking with you. Now there are several things that you can do ahead of time. I've made some amazing broth. I get to stick that in the freezer. I'll measure it in 4 cups and put it in the freezer. Label it. I'm good. So you can do all that part ahead of time. You can even do that part ahead of time and cook all the chili and the onion and the tomatillos and all that stuff inside that broth. That's okay. Now that you know what I mean. You can do the chicken ahead of time, and like I said, you could bake it, you can barbecue it, you can shred it and put it into enchiladas, which is another favorite of mine. So have fun with this. Have fun with this. It's so good. I am going to pour myself a glass of sangria, sit down and watch a movie, and enjoy this dish. Okay, my friends, until next time, happy baking.
That was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.